The boy casually picked up an old rusty axe and lightly swung it against an ancient tree. To everyone's astonishment, the trunk split cleanly in two on the spot. The master blacksmith, who had been watching from the side, widened his eyes in shock. He immediately drew his sacred weapon, one forged in blood, and struck it against the axe, but the rebound force shattered his prized weapon in half. Silence filled the air. The blacksmith's elder sister stared at the broken blade on the ground and instantly realized that a true master forger might be hiding in this small village. In truth, that axe once belonged to the legendary sword god of New York. After years of war and betrayal, he had grown weary of blood and power, so he concealed his name and retired to this quiet village. He no longer forged divine weapons, but instead made farming tools for peasants, hoping to improve their lives. The axe the boy used was merely a discarded piece he had forged out of boredom. After delivering the iron ore, the man hurried back to the mountain to bring materials to his wife, who was still learning blacksmithing. When he entered, she frowned and coldly told him not to disturb her while she studied. She even mocked him, saying he only knew how to make farm tools and didn't understand the true art of forging. The youngest apprentice couldn't resist laughing at him too. Despite the ridicule, the man only smiled calmly. He walked to a corner and sorted the minerals into 3 grades: high, medium, and low. His father-in-law watched in amazement. All the ores looked identical, and even he couldn't tell them apart. Yet this man identified them with his eyes closed. At that moment, the old blacksmith realized this was no ordinary craftsman. The father-in-law tried to persuade him to stay and return to weapon forging, but the man politely refused. To him, creating a good plow for the farmers was far more meaningful than chasing fame or power. Before leaving, he paused for a moment, looked at the sword in the furnace, and calmly said the metal was too cold. If tempered with intense fire, it would explode. The young blacksmith mocked him immediately, believing all blades should be tempered with the hottest flames. Without hesitation, he thrust the metal into the fire, boasting of his skill, until the sword exploded right in front of everyone. The hall fell silent in shock. Just then, the enemy entered with an armed group. Seeing the shattered sword on the ground, they demanded compensation. It was all part of their plan. They had hidden the metal's true nature to ruin the mountain's reputation and force them to surrender the mine below, the very source of the village's livelihood. If the mine was lost, the villagers would perish. The rival leader proposed a contest. Both sides would use the same ore, and whoever forged the most powerful weapon would win the rights to the mine. The father-in-law accepted without hesitation. The enemy brought out a testing stone. Each weapon would be used to break as many of them as possible. Whoever broke the most would win. On the mountain, they barely had 3 forgers available. Seeing the desperate situation, the father-in-law asked the man to participate. Everyone objected immediately. They thought a village toolmaker wasn't worthy. Even the man's wife begged her father not to let him embarrass them. With no other choice, the father-in-law sent up his younger apprentice, and then his daughter began the competition. She used her special layered wave forging technique and soon produced a gleaming blade. But when she was about to quench it, the man warned her that the edge was too simple and the tempering wouldn't hold. It would only cut through 2 testing stones. And indeed, that was the result. Only 2 stones. After stepping down, the man comforted her, noting that the enemy's weapon, though impressive, had blue spots, signs of uneven heat. It would only cut 2 stones. After 2 rounds, the score was tied. In the 3rd round, the young mountain master used his starfire technique and shattered 10 stones. The audience erupted in applause, but then the rival leader broke 30 stones with a single strike. The advantage shifted instantly. Desperate, the father-in-law finally pleaded with the man to step up. The younger apprentice interrupted, arrogantly taking the stage and tossing random ore into the fire. No one dared to stop him, but everyone knew they were doomed. At last, the father-in-law begged once more, and this time the man agreed. For the sake of the village's safety, he picked up an ordinary stone and threw it into the fire. Then he used the legendary technique that had once earned him the title Sword God. When he was done, he presented a dull, unadorned weapon. Everyone burst out laughing. It was just a simple woodcutting axe. But when he swung it lightly, a weapon spirit rose into the sky, wrapping the entire mountain in a golden aura.